Jeff Wilson, and in today's video I'm going to show you 5 different myofascial exercises that you can do to help improve your running. So they'll include lacrosse ball, foam roller, and even the use of a stick as a kind of like bonus potential thing for one of the exercises. But these are just 5 things that I would suggest doing. You honestly could do it daily, but definitely 2, 3, 4 days a week, depending on your situation, what you're working on. But these are it's a good general set of things that need to be done pretty regularly to help keep your running fluid and keep your form in check, and as well as on top of that, just to kind of try to stay away from some injuries. So give these a shot. If you have any questions, please message me, and thanks for watching. All right, guys, so the first exercise is going to be getting our glutes and a little bit of the SI joint with this lacrosse ball. I suggest using a lacrosse ball, but you can use a tennis ball or another massage ball you can get at the store. But essentially all you want to do is sit on it. I'm on a hard surface, so it makes it a little bit more difficult, a little less forgiving, but that's okay. What we want to do is try to find some of these hot spots, roll around in the thick parts of the glutes. You want to kind of change your angle a little bit. You can lift up the leg, get a little bit deeper. You just want to really try to work out some of these areas, try to release some knots. It's not always a knot, but like right now I can feel this is a spot that I'm going to sit on for a few minutes if I wasn't shooting videos for you. But then you can get a little bit higher, almost feels like the low back. So to some people it might feel like the glutes. And if you're really hot on the SI joint, you'll know that you found it. And that needs to get worked out pretty regularly so you can open up your hips and move freely. All right, this next one, the calves are the focus. I'm going to suggest starting, if you don't do this often, with just a foam roller. You can do 2 legs at once, going up from basically the bottom of the ankle to the back of the knee. I suggest doing different angles, so you're getting the middle, inside, and outside of the calf. I like to put one shin over or one leg over the other to get a little bit more force, so I can push down into the calf to get a little bit deeper of a release. And then I also like to add in some ankle rotations, some flexions to go a little bit deeper. And then of course, there's the trusty stick. If you haven't used one of these, I would suggest getting one. I think it's the easiest as far as calves go to use the stick. And this you can just kind of travel around, really dig into some of those hot spots. Promise you, this is needed more than you think it is. In the second exercise of this series, you are going to take a lacrosse ball. You can, of course, use a foam roller in this area. You could definitely use a tennis ball, but I'm going to have you massage the pec muscle, or part of the chest, and almost get a little bit into the deltoid as well. This is going to help you with some of that forward-leaning posture. It's going to help with your breathing as well, be able to open your rib cage. Usually people are pretty tight here if you're if you sit all day at a job, or you just don't really work on your postural musculature, or just posture in general. That's something that I really highly suggest. That's for another time though. But all you're going to do is literally place the lacrosse ball, and you're just going to try to search for some hot spots. Usually you'll find at least one. I suggest doing some arm movements just to try to get a little bit deeper into the areas that you know right away are hard to do. I have to do this pretty regularly to keep my posture in check, so get after it. This next one is using a peanut. This happens to be 2 tennis balls duct taped together. I have one at home that's 2 lacrosse balls. That one's obviously a little bit more difficult. I love this though. What we're going to do here is roll our T-spine, so basically the bottom of our rib cage up to kind of close to our neck area. This is often a very tight spot for a lot of runners, and especially, again, just like the last tip, you might be feeling this if you're sitting down a lot all day. If you have a shirt on, you're gonna have to make sure that your shirt does not roll up into the device, but essentially you're just going from that bottom position, ideally in most cases going all the way up to basically where you're able to, into the neck, and then just going back and forth. You can add some arm movements. You'll probably get some spinal pops. This is literally one of my favorite things to do. The arm movements, you can add some, just to get some really good dynamic mobility, almost like as if somebody's kind of digging in. Give it a shot. I promise you, you'll feel better if you do this consistently. 5th one for this video is going to be getting these trusty quads. They get hammered during running. I don't care if you're running on soft ground or pavement, doing trail running. The quads get destroyed pretty regularly. So this will probably, if you don't do this often or you don't stretch your quads often, this is going to probably be pretty tough. But you're going to start, ideally, I like to start the top of the knee, the bottom part of the quad, and just kind of start traveling around, start figuring out what is most tight. You want to get the inside of the thigh. That's usually going to be very difficult for a lot of runners. So just keep that in mind. And then almost the IT band, you're kind of at a nice little angle. When you find those hot spots, what I want you to do is then, when you're comfortable with this, you may not be right away. You're going to flex your foot towards your butt, and this really digs in deep. Get at it, people. Make it consistent every day or close to it.